Today we're doing 7.2 and we're talking about ratios, rates, and unit rates. Let's first start with defining these three terms. Let's review what a ratio is. Remember, this is a comparison of two quantities. So for example, I could say 5 to 7 or 5 over 7. So I could say I have $5 compared to my friend's $7. Now let's talk about what a rate is. Now you see rates all the time when you're talking about money, but the actual definition is a comparison of two quantities, so like a ratio, but the difference is that this will have a different. So for example, we could say something like 90 miles in 3 hours. We notice here we have two different units. In my numerator I have miles, and my denominator I have hours. So this would be a rate. Another example would be I spent $8 on 5 apples. So last we have to talk about a unit rate. So if you see the word unit, that's your clue of what you need to do. And this is going to be a rate again, but when your bottom quantity is 1. So when you think of unit, you should think of 1. So let's go back to that example of 90 miles in 3 hours. If I want to find a unit rate, I want that denominator to be 1. So I want to know for each 1 hour. So to go from 3 to 1, I would need to divide by 3. Whatever I do to one, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to divide by 3 on top. So 30 miles per hour. That would be my unit rate. Let's use this bar graph to find unit rate. So this graph describes the acres destroyed by a fire in 2000, and these were the 4 states that had the most fires, or the most acres that were destroyed. So let's start with Nevada. If we look at this graph, we're going to have to make an estimate. So this is around 0.6. So we're not at 1 million yet. So this is around 600,000, but we're a little bit halfway. So we can say that this is around 640,000 acres, and this is in the matter of 1 year, because they're saying in 2000, so that's 1 year. So if I want to find the unit rate, I want to find in 1 day. So if we think about this, we can go back and we can change this to 1 year. Instead, we can make this 366 days. So to go from this denominator to 1 day, we need to divide by 366. So we need to divide the top by 366. And we're going to have to get an estimate. So you get 1,749 acres. I want you to try to do Idaho on your own. So for Idaho, this is exactly at 1.4. So this is going to be 1,400,000 acres. Again, this is in 1 year, or 366 days. So what would be the unit rate in 1 day? How many acres in 1 day? Again, you're dividing the top and bottom by 366. So you should have gotten about, again, we're doing an estimate, 3,825. Now, if you look here, this number is bigger than the one with Nevada, which makes sense because in this bar graph, it's bigger than Nebraska. Let's keep going with this idea of unit rate. The same thing can be said for unit price. When we're asked to find unit price, that just means their unit rate when we're talking about money. So let's look at this example up on top. It says blank videos can be purchased in packages of 3 for $4.99 or 10 for $15.49, and this should be a $. Which is the better buy? So let's start with our comparison. Let's always put our price on top in the numerator, and then whatever we're comparing are the number on the bottom. So this time it's going to be number of videotapes. So let's start. I'm going to do this first one in green. So my price is $4.99, and I get 3. Now if I want to find the unit price, I always want to find 1. So I'm going to divide by 3 in my denominator, divide by 3 in my numerator. And this again is going to be an estimate. So it's about $1.66 for one videotape. See if you can try this second one on your own. So what you should have done is you should have put your price of $15.49 in your numerator and 10 in your denominator. We're going to divide the top and the bottom by 10, so we get that denominator of 1. So you can think of this as one videotape. And when you do that in the numerator, it's about $1.55. So now all you have to do is compare. Well, which one of these is a better price? Well, obviously you would want to pay the smaller amount. So your better price is the 10 for $15.49. Let's try just one more and then we'll be done. So it says Laron can buy 64-ounce carton of orange juice for $2.49 or a 96-ounce carton for $3.99. Which is the better buy? Always start by writing your comparison with words. So what are we comparing? Remember, we put money on top, and then we're putting our ounces on the bottom. So see if you can come up with this green one on your own. You should have done $2.49 over 64 ounces. See if you can find what the unit price would be. So you're going to divide the top and the bottom by 64. So it would cost you around, and you can round when you do this, $0.0389 or cents for 1 ounce. Alright, let's try this second one. Go ahead and see if you can find the unit price for this blue one. You should have done $3.99 over 96 ounces. Let's find that unit price. So divide the top and the bottom by 96. And you should get 0.0416 for every 1 ounce. So which one is the better buy? This top one is the better buy. So the 64 ounces for $2.49 is the better buy. Alright, you can do your exit slip now.